12 things you didn't know about Gainsborough. What do you know about Gainsborough? We bet you didn't know everything there is to know about this charming market town. Even residents of the town are still surprised to discover certain facts about their town. You'll understand our position after watching this exploratory video that presents the 12 things you didn't know about Gainsborough. Other than being on the edge of its county, situated on the banks of the Trent River and adjacent to Nottinghamshire, the town also has strong links to the Mayflower story. Did you know that? As we wade through 12 facts you may or may not know about Gainsborough, try to see what you can tell us about this town with the Pilgrims connection centuries ago. 12. Other 4 Gainsboroughs. Did you know that there are 4 other locations named Gainsborough? You likely didn't know that much, if at all you knew anything like that. Okay, let's start from there. Altogether, we have 5 Gainsboroughs in the world. We have one in an area of Ipswich in the Ipswich district in the UK. That's the Gainsborough of the county of Suffolk. Next is the one in Kensington and Chelsea. This is synonymous with its hotel. There's also a village called Gainsborough in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan with a population of less than 300. Finally, there is another one in Victoria, Australia. But we're concerned by our dear Gainsborough in Lincolnshire. 11. Manor houses with royal connections. If you are a resident of Gainsborough, you are likely to know one thing or two about Gainsborough Old Hall. You probably know that the Old Hall in Lincolnshire is over 500 years old. If you know enough, you might also be aware that this is one of England's best preserved and largest medieval manor houses. But there's more to know about the hall that was built in 1460 by Sir Thomas Burgh of the rich, flamboyant and powerful Burgh family. We are driving at something other than Gainsborough Old Hall and the home of Burghs. One thing you may not know is that King Richard III spent the night at Gainsborough on October 10th, 1483. 10. The Mill on the Floss. Remember that? It is George Eliot's work. One of the things you didn't know about Gainsborough is the setting for The Mill on the Floss, one of the 7 novels written by this author with that pen name and whose real name is Mary Ann Evans. He was also believed to have stayed at the Trenery household in 1859, the place now known as the United Services Club located on Bridge Street. 9. The Mayflower Trail. The Mayflower Trail is a popular feature of Gainsborough and other towns and villages associated with prominent people in the Pilgrims story. Did you know that the separatists worshipped in Gainsborough? Navigating through the Mayflower Trail in the town, you can follow in the Pilgrims' footsteps. Also, at Gainsborough Old Hall mentioned earlier, you can see All Saints' Church as you wade through a number of other historic cities such as Babworth, Scrooby Manor, and the Bassetlaw Museum still to be mentioned here. You have a lot more lessons to learn about them as we apparent when Gainsborough hosted several fantastic events and activities during the commemoration of the Mayflower's 400th year. 8. Sybil Thorndyke Hometown. If you are no stranger to Shakespearean productions, you likely knew Dame Agnes Sybil Thorndyke, CHDBE. The English actress was born in Gainsborough 24th of October 1882 and lived a fulfilled life before her death on the 9th of June 1976. She toured internationally in Shakespearean productions. She had hoped to be a successful concert pianist before the musical career she had trained for as a youth was ruled out by a medical problem with her hands. She took to the stage as a professional actor in 1904 and remained active until 1969. 7. Rose Brothers Connection. The story surrounding the Rose Brothers cricket ground in Gainsborough is not clear to many. The Rose Brothers Connection is one of the 12 things you didn't know about Gainsborough. If you're not among those who didn't know, you deserve a hug. William Rose, the pioneer, was born in Gainsborough on 14th November 1856. During the Second World War, the Rose Brothers Company was involved only in work for the Admiralty, Air Ministry and Ministry of Supply. The company further developed the rear turret for the famous Lancaster. 6. Hand-built Gainsborough Model Railway. One interesting fact about Gainsborough that many didn't know is about its model railway. This is one of the largest model railways in zero gauge in the world. It depicts the East Coast Main Line from King's Cross to Leeds Central. It is certainly no ordinary model railway. It is indeed a unique product of the model maker's art. 5. Carl Wood taught in Gainsborough. If you are not a follower of creative arts, you might not know about Carl Wood, who lived from 1888 to 1958. Many who knew something about him could easily have learnt that he was born in Kings Newton, Melbourne in Derbyshire. Wood later settled in Gainsborough as a teacher. He taught art at Gainsborough Grammar School. Wood even had his own art studio. He undertook private tuition in several subjects such as painting, piano and singing lessons. 4. The birthplace of John Alderton. Can you remember the English actor John Alderton? If you are a fan of movies and television series, the name would ring a loud bell. If you have seen drama, television and comedy series Upstairs, Downstairs, Thomas and Sarah, Woodhouse Playhouse, Little Miss, Please Sir, No Honestly, and the animated children's television series Fireman Sam, the friendly image of John Alderton will be flashing in your mind. Alderton, born on 27th of November 1940, has often starred alongside Pauline Collins, his wife. But that's not what we're about to tell you. Did you know that the actor was born from the union of Ivy and Gordon John Alderton, who was born in Gainsborough over 8 decades ago? 3. The site of Marshall's Yard. Did you know that there are electric car charging points at Marshall's Yard? We're sure you know that its shopping centre offers a great relaxed atmosphere for a day of retail therapy with its 35 fantastic stores. But the centre for shopping and leisure hasn't always been the occupier of that site. Marshall, Sons & Co., a British agricultural machinery manufacturer that was founded in 1848, was first on the present site of Marshall's Yard. We're sure you didn't know this. In 1849, the company was renamed Britannia Iron Works and began producing road steam engines for aircraft and tractors and the boiler for the Fairburn steam crane now standing on the dockside in Bristol. It was incorporated in 1862 as a limited company. Unfortunately, Gen Z wouldn't know this because all manufacturing vanished in the mid-1990s, leaving the site for Marshall's Yard. 2. England's most populous county. We know you're ready to contest this, but wait a minute. We're putting this discussion in the historical perspective. Lincolnshire was once the most populous in England. We found this in the Domesday Book created in 1086. The books revealed the county had the highest population in England at the time, and that was because of Gainsborough. The town back then was exclusively a community of farmers, feudal tenants and sokemen, tenants of Geoffrey de Gourche. Guess what? The town that was considered the most populous had only about 80 residents, of whom around 70% were of Scandinavian descent. If this isn't funny enough, please see the next thing you didn't know about Gainsborough. 1. A former capital of England. Hope Londoners would not be jealous of this. Well, one of the places London succeeds as the seat of the English and British governments is Gainsborough. In the 11th century, Gainsborough was the capital of England, but for only 5 weeks. A pound of history is loaded there, yet we'll provide only the context. Way back in 1013, the consensus in and about England was that of Gainsborough was the capital. Towards the end of the year's summer, Sweyn Forkbeard, the King of Denmark and the conqueror-in-waiting of England, entered the Humber with his Viking fleet. From there, he sailed up the Trent to Gainsborough and stayed there briefly. Since the monarch was there during that time, it was convenient to name Gainsborough as the capital of both England and Denmark, as both were being ruled by the same monarch. However, his reign was so short, only 5 weeks, and Sweyn Forkbeard goes down in history as the shortest reigning monarch in Britain. He left Gainsborough and his son Canute not long after his arrival. And that's a good note to conclude. Now it's your turn. Please, what is your contribution to this discussion about Gainsborough from what you saw here or whatever you knew? Kindly let us hear your sincere opinion. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.